There's so many things, I could talk for hours on all of the things that have happened. We sold our house and all of our possessions to travel and be together. In 2007, Colleen's symptoms started to appear, and in 2014, the official diagnosis was for spinal cerebellar ataxia. Despite our circumstances, we want to share through our experience that it is possible to live a joyous life. When we picked up the rig on the first day, we stayed at a KOA, and so we stayed there for a couple of days. And then when we went to leave, there was kind of two ways we could leave the park, and I went which I thought was the easiest way, turned out to be the hardest way. It was a very tight turn. So what happened is when I made the turn, I was very conscious of what was happening on the passenger side with the trailer, that I wasn't going to hit the guy next to us. But I didn't pay attention to the other side, and that when we made a tight turn on how the back end swings out, and as it turns out, I clipped this guy's bumper. And I didn't know it. I had no idea what happened until I stopped before we left the campground, and he walked up, and I was apologizing up and down and for what happened. And he was very cool about it. He says, "No big deal." He said it's really pretty simple. But after it, I was having a problem getting our weight distribution bars set up properly, and he helped me to get it set. So after I just hit this guy's truck, that he helped me to continue, and we parted ways, and and it was one of the first thing when that happened. It wasn't contentious. It wasn't there wasn't any issues, like no big deal, and that was something that I really needed at that time. When we got into Yuma, we had to have we were set up in our rig in the campground, and I had to get some service done on the truck. So I took it into town and got the service done. When I came back, actually, I had to take an Uber back. There were two women outside of our rig that were knocking on the door. I came up, and they asked if it was ours, or if it was my rig, and I said yeah. And so there's water pouring out the back of your camper. Now, we have a toy hauler, so the back end opens up, and I go inside, and there's water flowing from the shower all the way back. And what happened is our shower curtain rod fell, opened up filled up our gray tank, and then water was running down the rig, and luckily we were kind of on a slant, running out the back of our rig. And so this is one of the suggestions that was made from our neighbor, before you leave, to turn off the water, because these things can happen. One of those little tidbits that you learn, and things today, when we leave, is just one of those things that we take care of.
Were you in the rig when that happened, Colleen? Was that kind of scary a little bit?
She was sleeping at the time, so when I came back in, she was sleeping. She had no idea what was going on, and the dogs were up on they're up on the furniture. So and I had no idea on how long it was, on how long this was going on, when it happened at the time. So yeah. So when we picked up the rig, we were designed, and for rigs our size, they have an electric tongue jack, so you can raise and lower the tongue easy enough. But the leveling side to side, I had really no idea on how this was gonna take place. And there's different ways in doing it. Some people just use blocks they put under the tires and things of that nature. So that was a question that I asked: how do I do this? And so they said, well, if you don't want to do these levelers that go under the tires, you can use bottle jacks. So front to back, we use the tongue jack, and then side to side, we basically stack up blocks and then use a bottle jack to crank to level it side to side. The first park we went to, it worked great. There weren't any issues. The second park we went to, side, it wasn't very level. So when we were getting things set up, I was, I had the tongue jack set, level front to back, and then I'm cranking this up. Well, what happened is I wasn't paying attention to the tongue jack, and so as I was lifting it up, it lifted the tongue jack up off of the block, and then the rig shifted towards me. So, at 11,000 pounds coming towards you, and it kind of knocked me back, and people came over, "Are you okay?" And that's when I had a conversation with our salesman. We've got to come up with a better solution, because we're going to be doing a lot of moving over the next year. And this situation isn't, not only is it inconvenient, now this is a safety thing. And so we worked with them to find a unit to put on our rig, which has worked fantastic. So now we have auto leveling jacks on there. So we basically push a button and it does everything automatically and takes care of it. And been more than once where I've told Colleen, I'm like, I can't do this, but this is getting to be too much, and I can't handle this anymore. And then as soon as that would happen, somebody would come into our life and we'd share a story, and they would see our story, might be they read our blog. Those little nuggets are enough when you've had these challenges come in, and these interactions, it's like, I know we're on the right path, and it comes in exactly at the right time. We are enjoying each day to the fullest, living with joy through acceptance. Our wish is that our experience may offer hope to those that may be facing a challenging situation in their life. We welcome you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and take this journey with us. We would love to connect with you. Check us out at livingonlifesterms.com.